Alrighty, YouTube. Hey, how's it going? Andrew Clark joining you here again with another car review. Sorry it's been so long that, sorry it's taken so long to do another one. It's just I've been busy and I only have a certain number of cars that I can do reviews on at this point. But if you do enjoy the review here, please do share it with your friends. I know the last one I did was the BMW 3 Series review, and I appreciate the positive feedback I've gotten from most people. I know it did sound kind of funky, and I've actually taken that into consideration. That was just a little test that I was doing to see what I could do about making the videos more clear, but obviously it didn't turn out as well as I thought it would. I was going to actually take the video down once I realized how silly it sounded. But I thought, well, you know, it's got 20,000 views and, you know, it got mostly positive feedback, so, you know, I'll just leave it up. This here is a 2012 GMC Acadia. We got this car a couple of years ago now. I can't believe it's already 2014. This is the last year that they did this model, the one that looks like this. If you just look up 2012 GMC Acadia, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Now this car has kind of a funny package. It doesn't have leather seats, so it's not the SLT trim. But one funny thing it has is all-wheel drive. It does have a GPS, which strikes me as odd. I don't know why they'd release a car with a GPS and four-wheel drive and not throw in the leather seats. It just seems like kind of a strange thing that they do. But obviously you can get GMs from quite cheap to very expensive. This has the GPS system, the satellite radio, equipped with all of the channels. That's, of course, one nice thing is that you can actually get that with a lifetime package. So I think for 800 bucks, you literally have a lifetime supply of satellite radio. I'm not sure how many cars you can transfer that to. You'd have to check with them. I'm pretty sure you can do it up to 2 vehicles or something. I don't know. To me, you're probably better off just paying month by month if you don't like to keep your cars for a long time, because it would just get wasted if you did sell the car within a couple of years. In terms of driving the GMC Acadia, it's what I like to call a car. It's a vehicle. It's very handy. It pulls boats. We have a 4,000-pound boat it tows. We have a Sea-Doo that it pulls. And when you're towing with it, you really can't really feel the trailer. Obviously, the acceleration's not quite as great, and the braking's not quite as responsive. But other than that, it's really not that bad of a vehicle for towing. In terms of climate control, you can get that. This particular model doesn't have it. It is equipped with air conditioning, however, which is nice in the Toronto summers. That's where I am right now, is Toronto. And it is quite a humid day, currently sitting at 25 degrees. So it is actually, I'm going to throw it on right now, actually, because I'm starting to warm up a little bit. Normally I like to drive with the windows down, but no, today because I'm filming, I might as well just put on the air conditioning there. Now, feel free to add any suggestions to these videos. This is only really my second car review, so I do apologize if it's a little bit boring or I'm missing certain details or anything that you feel might add to the video. Please feel free to comment. As well, I'd love it if you could share it with your friends. We're actually driving up Cummer Avenue here in Toronto, for those of you who are from Toronto. If you're not from Toronto, this is the northern part of Toronto. We're just north of the 401 here. Now, in terms of the transmission on the GMC Acadia, it does have the sport shifting, so the Tiptronic, I'm not really sure what they call it. So you can downshift. In terms of its responsiveness, I would say don't bother using it. It's fairly slow to respond. It's nothing like the Volkswagen DSG or the Mercedes tap shift or the BMW. I think BMW, I've driven a number of BMWs with the tap shift. They do it the best. GMC's getting up there. I'm sure Cadillac's better. But on the kind of family SUV, it could use some work. Another thing too is I find it tends to hold the gears way too long. Now, I'm not an engineer. I don't know why it does this. Perhaps there's a reason for it. But when you're going about 120 kilometers an hour, so about, I don't know what that would be in miles per hour, maybe 65, 68 miles per hour, I don't think there's any reason that a big 6-cylinder like that's in this here with over 200 horsepower should be revving that high. Again, that's my personal take on it. I don't know whether that increases the fuel economy. I would assume that it does. I'm not sure what this guy's doing here. But I think that they've really got to work on the transmission and maybe program it better to shift earlier. Again, that's just my take on it. The GMC Acadia, I'll go on the highway with it and we can test out the acceleration. I would say it's not bad. It's not great. Handling, not bad, not great. It is a big car, however. Like, I used to have a Suburban, and this replaced our old Suburban. We had that from 2002 until 2012, so we had that for 10 years. It was a fantastic car. Big V8 engine, of course. This gets about 14 liters per 100 kilometers, and I gotta be honest with you, that's not fantastic. I think it's because it's a lot heavier than the Ford Explorer. I've heard that. Again, not sure. You'll have to check on that one to make sure. It's a little bit heavier than the Ford Explorer, so I guess that would cause the fuel economy to go up. Now, a lot of people say that the heavier the car, the safer the car. Again, I don't know whether that's true or not. So sometimes weight isn't always a bad thing. What else should I say about it? I mean, the acceleration is not too bad. They actually amped up the acceleration, I believe, in the 2009 model year. This car looked the same from 2007 until 2009, and I believe it was 2009 where they changed it. They upgraded the engine to produce, I think, 40 more horsepower. And you know what? I'm quite happy they did that, because this car isn't what I would call quick. But if I recommended it to someone, I would say that with the price tag of it and what you get for the price, it's really quite a remarkable vehicle. You get I think it gets a great safety rating. It can pull boats. It has a trailer hitch that was built onto it. That may have been a feature, I'm not sure. All-wheel drive, it's fantastic in the snow. I'm going to post up some videos of me driving this thing around in the snow. And I'm telling you, it was just phenomenal. It passed everything on the road. It was just remarkable. The steering responsiveness is good. It's got the OnStar system. I believe it also has Bluetooth capabilities, cruise control. It has, what else does it have here? It's got cloth seats that are very comfortable. It's good for long road trips. One funny thing about the car, and I'd love someone who has one to comment on this video, actually confirming this fact to me, but I think that the back seat, for some reason, it comes up so high that you find that your legs are up high. But again, it's not too uncomfortable. It's really not too bad. I'm just trying to think of what else I should say about the car. I'm trying to get into some editing software so I can cut out the dead moments where I'm trying to gather my thoughts. With the air conditioning on here, we'll do an acceleration test. That's like a moderate to fast acceleration. Again, it's nothing wonderful, but it's also a family SUV. We're not looking at the BMW X5M. If you're looking for a family SUV that's going to be something more quick, you'd be looking at the BMW X5M, but don't forget that's going to be a lot more money than this car, and you're also not going to get as much utility out of that, because I don't believe you can pull boats with the X5M. The X5 regular you can, but not the X5M. Now, this car with a diesel engine, I think, would be a really good addition to the GM fleet. I think that's the way Mercedes has gone. This competes with the Mercedes GL and the Audi Q7. Both of those are offered in diesel engines now. Granted, they are twice as expensive as this car, so that does tend to sway people away from the diesel. I know you get better fuel economy. You probably get about 9 liters versus 14, but in terms of an overall, if you keep the car maybe 5-6 years, and you don't care about the brand names like Mercedes or Audi or BMW, you're not really going to see any significant savings with the diesel versus the gasoline engine in this vehicle. Like I said, it's not bad. It's also not fantastic. Although I've heard people who say their Infiniti sedans get about 14 liters per 100 kilometers on premium. This vehicle is, thank goodness, regular and doesn't require that expensive fuel. But, yeah, no, if you're looking for a family vehicle, I would probably... In terms of features, the Ford Explorer is just a fantastic vehicle. It's got the Ford Connect. This is a Rosen GPS system. I don't know whether that's GM standard. This is what they threw into it for us. It's got an SD holder, satellite radio, GPS, turn-by-turn navigation. It tells you when you go over the speed limit, which is actually seems like a good feature, but at the end of the day, it ends up being quite annoying. Leather seats would have been nice in this. I'm not sure why we didn't opt to get those. Silver in color. You can actually get the exterior with HID headlamps. This one doesn't have those. It's either HID headlamps or projector headlamps. It has fog lights equipped, dual quad exhaust, which actually sounds quite nice from behind. It also looks pretty good too. From certain angles, this vehicle, I don't know who copied who, but it tends to look like the Mercedes GL from certain angles, not all angles. I will tell you that it doesn't look like it from all angles, but certain angles it actually does, which is interesting. Comparing this to this Suburban, I know a lot of people looking for this car would also consider a Suburban. I would say if you don't need the full size and you don't really care about having a full V8 engine, I would absolutely opt for this car. I mean, you get way better fuel economy in this car, and I mean, it's a lot easier to drive. It feels more like a car. You sit lower. Now, I know some people like to sit higher, but this does feel more like a sedan. I would call this, you know what this car is? It really is a Dodge Caravan in terms of versatility in an SUV form. So guys like me can drive this around, and no offense to guys who drive Caravans, I actually love the Caravan, but a lot of guys, you know, laugh at them and, you know, say this and that about them. I actually think they're very versatile. They're a lot of fun, easy to drive. This is a vehicle that gets van fuel economy, has van capabilities with four-wheel drive, so it's a little bit better than most vans, and doesn't look like a van, which a lot of people don't like. So honestly, for the price of this, I think it came out to, they start off at about $39,000, maybe in the $40,000. That's Canadian, obviously. It's going to be different figures in the States. We've had this since it was brand new. It now has 31,354 kilometers, and so far there haven't been any problems with it. I know it had one recall that had something to do with some exhaust plate or something, I can't remember, but I don't think ours was all that affected by it. I think the key recall isn't affected by us. But yeah, no, it's really a fantastic vehicle, and for the price, you really can't beat it. I mean, I know that most people would probably, if they could afford it, they would probably opt for the Mercedes. But for most people who are just looking for a car to get around in that has versatility, doesn't look like a van, this is gonna be your car. Now, obviously, this one has it has manual seats, so that's not too fancy. But you can opt to get the power seats as well if you want them. This has silver metallic color. And I mean, I'm not sure if there's a whole lot to say about it. Again, a 6-cylinder engine, 4-wheel drive, air conditioning, rear climate control. One funny thing this car does actually is for some reason the ticker sometimes misses a couple of beats, and sometimes it goes really fast. I don't know what causes that. It's kind of just a funny thing that some GM cars do. I'd say that a lot of GM cars are fairly quirky. They are reliable cars, but they could really use some refinement in terms of how they run. This one has the 18-inch alloy wheels. You can upgrade to, I believe they're chrome. They look fantastic. If you have the option to, I would say go for the chrome wheels. They really do look fantastic. They run well, and you get 19-inch wheels. It makes it look a lot more high-end, I think. That 1 inch in the wheel makes a big difference. I don't know why that is, but it really does make a big difference. This is now Shepherd Avenue for those who know Toronto. I'll just keep you updated on where we are here. Just gonna do a little highway acceleration for you guys and see how it feels. I mean, I'll goose it on the highway. Hopefully you can get a good appreciation for how it's feeling. Just about to go get gas at Costco, so I'll hop on the 401 eastbound. Again, guys, I'm just getting into this whole car review thing, so if you can think of anything you want me to say, then I'd love to hear. Maybe send me a private message or comment on the video. Even a video response would be great. Those things are great because then I can kind of interact with you. I can see, you know, your facial features, how animated you are about the comment. Of course, caps lock works the same way. You can use caps lock if this video really offends you, but I can't imagine it will because it's a pretty basic video. In terms of torque, I don't know all the features of the car. I don't know, I'd like to memorize all of them, but I find it just very difficult to get all the torque readings and the horsepower. I believe it's about 270 horsepower, this car. Naturally aspirated V6. Again, it pulls boats very well. And yeah, no, it's actually a very good car. Now, I have a BMW 3 Series that I obviously day-to-day like driving that around better. I also have a Volkswagen Golf TDI diesel. It's a video on my channel of me driving that around. It's not much of a review. I'd love to do a review of that because it's really, that car is just incredible. It gets Prius fuel economy without having to have a hybrid, or that hybrid kind of label that people throw on you, or the way that a Prius drives. I've driven a Prius, and let me tell you, it's not that wonderful the way they drive. The Volkswagen Golf TDI just drives absolutely beautifully. Let's see here. Now, things that this car could improve on, again, the transmission kind of drives me nuts the way it holds the gears for way too long. It really does downshift way too easily, in my opinion. And what else? I'm just trying to think here. Another thing that'd be really nice to have on this car, I don't know whether that's a feature, would be to have the ability to see your fuel economy on the display here, like my Volkswagen does that. And what else does that? The BMW does that as well, which is just very handy. Like when this thing gets low on gas, I just have absolutely no idea where this guy's going to be awesome. I have no idea where how far I have to go before I get gas. Like, I've been quite afraid. I've had the thing on the check engine, or not the check engine light, the fuel gauge warning light on for a number of kilometers at one point, and it was just brutal. I had no idea how much longer I could go. That seems to be a standard feature on a lot of cars. GM should really hop on the bandwagon. I know some of them do it, and just start throwing it on every single car. That to me is just such a great feature to have, is the fuel economy, and the predicted range. Now, I couldn't really do an acceleration there, but you can see it effortlessly keeps up with highway traffic. There's a BMW X6 ahead of me, and I'm not having any difficulty. One thing that's actually fantastic on this car, really remarkable on this car, are the brakes. I'm telling you. But in a lot of situations where traffic comes to a dead stop, the brakes are just phenomenal, the brakes. I love them. They stop you so quickly. I have a BMW 3 Series, and I gotta tell you, I think that the brakes on this car probably keep up with the BMW 3 Series. Now, considering this car is probably twice as heavy as a 3 Series, that's quite a feat of engineering that GM's been able to do. The brakes feel a bit mushy at the beginning, but maybe that's because I'm used to a BMW where the brakes are very responsive. These feel a little bit mushy, but no big deal. Another nice thing that this car has is steering wheel controls, the horn's loud, and it's the kind of car that you can drive around, be comfortable in, and it's a GM Acadia. You're not sending a message, you're not saying, oh, look at how rich I am, where you get that in a lot of Mercedes and BMWs and Audis. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just some people like to have a car that gets them around, that's comfortable, that's versatile, that drives nicely, and this car for the price is unbelievable, and the image that it produces is unbelievable. It's a really, really good image. There's a BMW 3 Series right there. It's a really good image. We're just on the 401 going eastbound here. Yeah, no, honestly, guys, I really appreciate you hanging out with me here today on this YouTube channel. I'd love, I know I've said it before, but I'd love for you to, you know what? I gotta interrupt myself here. Right ahead of me here is an Audi Q7 TDI. I think it might be a little bit smaller than this car. I know that it's probably in the same class, but that one looks to be a little bit smaller than this. If you have any suggestions for me, please don't hesitate to put them up on comments. Please do share the video if you like it. Share it on Facebook, share it on YouTube. The more exposure I get, the better I'll get at it. The more inclined I'll be to, do better cars. I soon might be able to take requests, take BMWs out, take Mercedes-Benzes out. I also like doing used cars as well. I just find it, to be more amusing. I find that older cars have more character. And I think that pretty much wraps up this review of this car. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Once again, I'm Andrew Clark, and hopefully I'll be doing more reviews for you in the future. Again, please comment on the video, see if there's anything I can improve for you, or any suggestions. Perhaps you want to see a certain type of vehicle, just let me know. That would be awesome. And I believe that that's it. Take care, everybody. Actually, before I go, I'm just going to do a quick acceleration test. I'm just going to put it to the floor here. You can see it revs all the way up to the red line there. And into the passing lane. The acceleration with the air conditioning on is really actually not that bad. It's got a very nice pickup. It's good, it's safe. The faster the pickup on a car, the safer it is. I know that sounds silly, but if you got to get yourself out of somewhere in a pinch, someone blows a red light, or you blow a red light, and you got to just get out of the situation, it's nice to have a car where you can just plant it and have the vehicle take off on you. Anyway, that's finally it for now. Take care, everyone, and have a great day.